This is the AOC Sports High School Football Preview Show.
Week 3 of our broadcast season here on UTV 44. Jim Cox and Dan Brennan as we get you ready for our matchup tonight back across the bay in Baldwin County as Bayside plays host to St. Michael's. First time we'll see each of these teams this year. Go back to our game on Friday night. Weather's going to be better. It's not going to be not going to have the sloppy feel I don't think that we had last week.
I don't know about that.
Well, it's been better all week leading up to the game.
It has been, but Friday, Saturday looked like they could be a little. I work with Dr. Bill Williams every day at FM Talk 106.5. He knows weather.
Yes.
So let's just keep an ey out.
All right. Well, hopefully it's not like that. But so we saw that Blunt team still struggling on offense, trying to find their way. Went through three quarterbacks in that game, and then we saw Spanish Ford, who was coming off that heartbreaking loss to Fairhope in Week 1. And kind of saw them start to kind of build as the game went on and you know, did enough to win and improve and now get ready for their matchup this week, and then they got a big matchup next week on UTV 44 against Saraland.
Yeah, I'll say this about both those teams. Blunt their offense is definitely struggling, but they play hard, and they've got some guys on defense that can play. So they've got really good athletes, especially on the defensive side of the ball. You know, they may have some on offense too, but they haven't been able to get them loose. Now, as far as Spanish Fort, that team did have a heartbreaking loss the week before, and they just came across, not an easy thing to do, come into 8 Mile and play Blunt at their place. They're a solid team.
Yep.
It's a new coach, so we weren't that familiar with Coach Chase Smith.
Yep.
And we like them, and we like the team. They're good.
Yep, they're going to be there. That 6A Region 1 is going to be a battle. We'll talk more about that next week with our matchup that we have Saraland and Spanish Fort taking place up in Saraland. But here at AOC, as we always are, and what we have with us this week, we have a doctor.
Yes, we do.
How about that? Dr. Ramon Rodriguez is here with us. And, you know, I think we're all sports fans hear this term about a player, especially in the NFL, being out with turf toe. And it's kind of like, oh, he's got turf toe. Doesn't that, okay, the name is really not a fair description of how awful and painful that ailment is. Am I right?
Right. So the term probably emanated from a increase in this injury when artificial turf came about. The toe gets planted and there's a hyperextension injury, so you pull the toe back and but it's a sling that holds the toe and the two bones that help you push off, and it gets loaded and it will fail. If at any point something's going to fail. So yeah, the injuries that we're talking about are the turf toe and the Liz Frank injury, and they're similar in their mechanism of injury.
I mean, Liz Frank, it could be a career ender,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Turf toes been.
Yeah.
Turf toes have been career enders. Just very delicate. You know, you talk about the knee, and they have patella injuries where the kid ruptures his patella. That can be a career ender too. So when we're trying to balance the tissue dynamically in order for it to perform at the elite level that these guys have to do, it is very difficult for that injury, and just a lot of force that goes into these injuries. And yeah, there's some big time athletes that have been plagued by these injuries.
Yeah, and so you think about preventative, stretching, strengthening, all those things, for different parts of the body. But I mean, there's so much going on in the foot. I mean, there is so much. I mean, is it avoidable, or is it kind of a freak accident that happens?
Well, I think big boys play big sports, and if it's just a mechanism, it's unfortunate. And you get in there and it's just the trash around a pile in a football game. It's just unavoidable that somebody falls into the back of your leg. I mean, there maybe you could put some harder shoe wear in to possibly dissipate the load, but whenever you borrow from Peter to pay Paul, somebody's going to get paid.
Yeah.
So if we avoid the injuries to the foot, like in these injuries, then maybe you'll develop an ankle.
Yeah.
I think they had the similar injuries in the neck and with collars and stuff like that, and they just you avoided this injury, but guess what? Now you got all these other ones.
Right.
So turf toe, and we'll get to the other one as well.
Sure.
But turf toe, football, yes, you see it a lot. I don't see it in basketball or baseball really. And can the regular, everyday, Tom, Dick, or Harry end up with turf toe?
Well, certainly with car wrecks, you can certainly by
dropping
applying
a wine bottle on your toe.
That happened to you 3 times last weekend.
Right. Well, I mean, you can a car wreck where somebody's decelerating their car and they're in a wreck. They can hit and they can hyperextend their toe.
Okay.
You can certainly get it in a burst sport like soccer or volleyball or any of these other sports. Certainly, it's possible. Is it unusual? Yeah, more than likely. It's much more common when you load and have big forces that push into it.
Keep your feet out of the pot.
Try
That's
to,
it.
yeah.
That's it. Good talking to you, Doc. Good talking to you. We'll see you more hopefully later on. You talked to him on FM Talk too, right?
Palomine.
Yeah, got it. All right.
Back in the day,
We
last December.
Come back here at AOC, get ready for our matchup tonight. 4A matchup, Bayside playing host to St. Michael, and we'll talk more about that coming up right after this. Show rolls on for Friday Night Rivals. Jim Cox, Stan Brennan here. We always talk about we can't believe how long we've been doing these games.
Yeah.
And then Coach Phil Lazenby at Bayside, who we knew for a long time when he was an assistant coach at UMS, 16th year. Like that does not seem possible for us. I know it can't seem possible for you.
That's true. Time flies.
But you have thoroughly enjoyed being at Bayside.
I have. I enjoy the school, enjoy the people, enjoy the kids.
Well, here's a new year. You got a 2-0 record. That's good. Yeah. You might have one of the youngest teams in our area. Yeah. You might have one of the youngest teams that ends up on UTV 44 this year. So talk about that experience with having so much youth on the field.
Well, it's just one of those things where we've got some good freshmen. They're good players, but they're just young. They're 14 and 15 years old, and they are playing out of necessity. I tell the other coaches, I said, we don't need to play a JV game because all of my guys that are JV players are going to play varsity. So, but I enjoyed it, and we are young, but, that means the future, is good. The future's good.
Yeah, and get bumped up to, it's kind of a double whammy. I mean, and then you get bumped up from 3A to 4A with a really young team. You had a lot of great seniors last year.
Oh, yeah.
But then this year you get bumped up to 4A.
Yeah, I thought about that. It would be much better if we had those players for.
You probably think about that every day.
Yeah, it does. Well, yeah, once I say, when all the kids turn around and say, "How do we do that, Coach?" Or whatever, something like that. Yeah.
So you played St. Michael a few years back, but now y'all the same region. Got a region matchup, and I know you, like a lot of people, have been impressed what you've seen Coach Rivers has done in his short time there at St. Michael.
Right. He's a great guy and a great person. He's a great dad, a great family man, and we're very, very fortunate to have him in our community there in Baldwin County. He's a great coach, and he's got some really good players. He's done a good job with the assistant coaches coming in, and they've done a great job. Got a good team.
Let's go back to the past again. When did you meet Philip Rivers? That's a great story.
I met Philip. I think he was about 7 or 8 years old. He was our ball boy when I was coaching in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. That was a long time ago.
Of course, his dad, longtime high school coach. You two coached together, right. I know, a lot of times. So you might be young, but they're all built like this, right?
No.
They're all like Graham Uter.
I wish.
Graham Uter are going to see him on both sides of the ball tonight in our game. But boy,
if there was a third side of the ball, you'd see him there.
Yeah. So talk about with this young man.
He plays the left side. Everybody else plays on the right side. No, he's one of our tackles on offense and defense. Graham is a fine young man. Comes from a really good family. He's a great student. He's a 4.0 guy. Works hard. Wants to get better. He's a yes sir, no sir guy, and we really love him, and very, very proud of it.
Yeah, just a junior on this year's team. Your brother plays as well, but y'all are off to a good start. Talk about how the first 2 games have gone for the Admirals.
Well, it was real wet outside, real sloppy, but we found a way to work, and especially in that Alberta game, we found a way to stop them on the goal line and inch our way to the victory, and that was really good. And then,
one of those character-building victories early in the year that, especially maybe even more so important when you got so many young teammates, right?
Yes, sir.
Talk about your summer. It was a summer to remember because of all of the schools and camps that you attended, and I guess the feeling is mutual. You're interested in them, and these schools are showing interest in you. Talk about
Yes, sir. Well, I went to a lot of camps, a lot of SEC schools.
It's like a Johnny Cash song. All the camps we went to.
And then I learned so much there. They taught technique, they taught hands, everything on defense. They taught on offense, driving your feet, everything you need. And I feel like I got so much better, and I got to see the recruitment world and like understand it and get a feel for it. And now I feel like I'm getting a good start and hoping to find some success in it.
With a bunch of young guys, even though he's not a senior, so you got to lean on some guys like this, right?
Absolutely. He's a good role model for the kids. He's a good mentor to the younger kids, and we're very, very lucky to have him there with these young kids because it helps a lot.
Yeah. So, but being in, nobody's going to feel sorry for you on Friday,
no,
right?
No,
when it
I know that.
When it comes around.
No, and so you're going to be playing a St. Michael team that looks pretty good.
Hey, they're real good. They're a threat. Throwing the ball, running the ball. They've got a good defense. They come after you. They're going to blitz you. They're going to make you work up front and pay attention to what's going on because they've got they've had good plans the last two games. They played the socks off of Gulf Shores. Gulf Shores 6A school, and they played. They had a chance to win that ball game, and they're just really good. Gulf Shores is, and they played them tit for tat.
Yeah, well, we can't wait to see you out there, both sides of the ball. Let's like in baseball, they outlawed the shift. They just have you just on the one on the one side. We'll do that. All right. Good luck tonight, Coach. Thank you. You'll be back with Heather in the last segment. We'll come back and we'll talk about the St. Michael side of things. Coach Cortopassi with us, and we'll talk about their big matchup tonight they have right here against Bayside coming up tonight from Daphne. Our matchup tonight at a place you called like Little Wrigleyville. It was like
love it. It's right in the middle of a neighborhood over in Daphne and heading down toward the bay. Obviously, it's Bayside Academy, but yeah,
Bayside
great place.
St. Michael. We just heard the Bayside side of things. Now we'll talk a little St. Michael. We got defensive coordinator Simon Cortopassi here with us. Josh Murphy, the quarterback, and full circle. It's like he was in Josh's chair when you were playing for Coach Sessions.
How many great players have we seen through the years? And I'm not saying the only guy. This kid, he was a maniac.
Yeah.
Now, I hear he's a great defensive coordinator. Coach Rivers had so many great things to say about you. But as a player,
I mean, you got to be the first.
He needed to be controlled.
Yeah, first coach who was on this show as a player. It's got to be, right?
I think.
Oh, that's a pretty cool fact.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go.
The fact we're still here. We hadn't screwed it up yet.
I told Josh on the way, I said, it's the same two guys as when I did it. It's the same two guys.
Yeah.
And he's like, tamp your excitement. same two guys. Speaking of excitement level, you guys are 1-1, had that tough loss to Gulf Shores, but region game here tonight. I know got to be happy how the way your team's played battle and where you're at heading into week 3.
Yeah, we're excited. We started off with a tough loss to a really good Gulf Shores team.
Really good.
Yeah, really good. They're really athletic. We made a couple of mistakes, but it was good for us. It was a good loss in the sense of we got a lot of teach tape. We're going to be able to learn from it. We were able to clean some things up, and then went into Chickasaw week and took care of business there. And now we're ready to start off play with Region 1, First Bayside.
So we saw St. Michael last year. Josh Murphy, the quarterback for St. Michael this year, and you have to playing quarterback for Coach Philip Rivers. I mean, how long did it take you to kind of get past the wow factor, and where he just kind of felt like, okay, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but now he's just my head coach. Did it take a while?
Well, I mean, the first spring, so back my sophomore year going into my junior year, the spring, those first 3 weeks, I just remember having butterflies every day at practice, being nervous to go out and throw in front of him, oh, it's crazy.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you kind of get to, he's such a down-to-earth guy. He's a really good coach, really good person. And you kind of start to just see his heart, and it's not so much where he's some crazy celebrity and he's your coach and he cares about you as a player.
Yeah, I heard that over the phone, and I was, so disappointed. No, I'm only kidding. But I heard that over the phone, and I hear a lot of Philip and you too. But he said the coaching staff is really not huge, but really tight.
Yeah, so
you guys work together.
It is. It's only 6 of us, which is pretty small for when we're going against T.R. Millers and all these other places that have 10 or 15. So it's a heavy workload on us, but our chemistry as a staff is really good, and we feel like our kids feel that, and they know how close we are, and we're, for the most part, we're always on the same page, and it's a really positive, hardworking, environment.
When Coach Rivers, when it was the worst kept secret around that he was going to come down here and take the job, and what you see is what you get. When you see a guy who is like excited about football all the time, excited about kids, excited about high school football. Like I was telling Dan, I said, somebody from not around here maybe could look at it and say, is this really what he wants to be doing? It's like, no, this is exactly what he wants to be doing.
He's doing exactly, what he wants to do. There's no doubt about it. He always says, it was one of his dreams. He wanted to play in the NFL. He wanted to cut grass, which he cuts a lot of grass, and he wanted to coach a little high school football. And he's a heck of a head coach, and he's a lot of fun to work for.
Really great, Josh. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, so big region matchup tonight against Bayside, and kind of like wow, all of a sudden the season it's week 3 and we're in the meat of it now, right?
Yep, it's getting amped up. Yeah, we're really excited for this one. The first 2 weeks, tough loss against Gulf Shores, but a good rebound against Chickasaw, and really just kind of fine-tuning things out to get ready for region play.
What do you see as your role on this team? Obviously, as the quarterback, you have the ball every play. I get that, but otherwise, in terms of leadership.
Well, I think one big difference between last year and this year is now being a senior, especially taking on that leadership role. Mm-hmm. I had it last year, but now even more so. Mm-hmm. And I think understanding my role and understanding what I have to do and not trying to do too much. And I think an issue I had last year is trying to do too much, and it would stress me out. And I think one thing is taking what the defense gives me and just being calm and more comfortable in the pocket.
Yeah. So quarterback, even you haven't been out. So you've been out of high school 10.
Yep.
Like, what's placed on quarterbacks now compared to what was placed on them just 10 years ago? I mean,
it's changed a lot. When I was in the whole zone read and the RPOs were starting up, but now it's expanded. There's so much more and so there's a lot more. But what I will say is what Coach Rivers has done is what we run is a lot of what they ran. When he was with the Colts, his last few years at the Chargers. But him and our offensive coaches have simplified it. Now, like Murph is asked to do a lot, but it's in a way that he can understand, and they do a heck of a job of teaching it to him.
And it is one of the most fun parts of the game is going to be watching Coach Rivers on the sideline. Like just watching him on the sideline, that's a fun part of a Friday night.
It is. He's fiery, but he's doing a heck of a job this year so far. He's calmed down a little bit, but it's good.
Yeah, I'm not. We'll see how long that lasts. Josh, thanks for being with us. Thanks for being with us again. First two-time player and coach.
I got to see that cut on your phone.
He's got it on his phone. We'll come back. Heather's going to talk to the two players, get us ready for tonight's kickoff here on Friday Night Rivals. Bayside playing host to St. Michael.
Excited to be back with you for week 3. Before I talk with our two players tonight, we have to get with our Wendy's Giant of the Week. Big congratulations to Cole Blaylock, a senior running back from UMS Wright, is this week's Wendy's Giant of the Week. Do you want to be this week's Wendy's Giant of the Week? If you are a junior or a senior who plays on the football team at any of the high schools in our Alabama viewing area, well, guess what? You can win. Log on to UTV44 and click on the contest page to be entered for a Wendy's Giant of the Week prize pack. It's a pretty cool prize pack. Rules and regulations, of course, do apply. All right, I have got Josh Murphy and Greg Uter here today. Guys, it is so great to have you here with us. Let me start with you, Mr. St. Michael. Quarterback, senior, you talked about it with Dan, how your style of play and how your leadership is going to be really kind of tested throughout this season. Talk about how you take that in stride as we head into week 3.
Well, the first 2 weeks I think were a good test for me. when things go bad, you still got to be a leader, and when things are good, you have to be a leader. So I think understanding that, and then as the game goes along, there's going to be mistakes that are going to be made. I'm going to make mistakes, and one thing that I've really learned on getting better at is when I make mistakes, it's okay to still lead, and I take ownership for it, and it's still okay. And I can still lead. Like sometimes I fall into the trap of, well, if I make a mistake, then I just need to be quiet, but I can still lead and be vocal.
All right, sir. Home week matchup for you this week. As we're heading into week 3, talk about how you go into your style of play and how you're kind of feeling out the season this far.
Well, so far in the season, we've been having some real nasty games, and we're getting through
Field
it.
conditions have been fantastic. Yeah.
And then we've had to, fight through it, use hard work and stuff, like fight, and we gotta I gotta use my leadership. And even when things get rough, like he said, you got to keep it leading. And I'm a junior. I've had to step up because I'm one of the big kids on the team. I am the biggest kid on the team, actually. And I have to make sure that I show them, because they'll follow me.
That's right.
Because they'll yeah.
That's very true. All right, we're going to do a very quick rapid fire question. We ready?
All right, ready.
Superhero, go.
Captain America.
Captain America, yours.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. If you can have dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be?
Paul Bryant.
Oh, that's a good one. What about you?
St. Peter the Apostle.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. Last question I'm going to ask you guys. Favorite subject in school thus far? We're a couple weeks in.
Dude, that's a tough one. All right, I'm going to have to go with probably math.
Okay.
History.
All right. There we go. All right. We are just a few minutes away from kickoff. You guys play fair, play safe, and have a great night tonight, guys. We will see you in just a few minutes on the field.